What's up, family? Welcome to another Food and Finance Fridays on Lyle's Legacy. On the last video, I came out of Dallas, Texas, and I dealt with the 5 biggest financial threats that you could face. Today, I'm going to talk about how to deal with them or how to prevent them. All right? The best medicine is prevention. It's true in our physical health as well as our financial health. All right? And so today I'm going to deal with the first 2 financial threats. And before I really got into the what the biggest financial threat was or is, I wanted to highlight everybody's biggest financial asset, which is you. Okay? Your biggest financial asset is your ability to make money, to earn an income. All right, with that being said, what is your biggest financial threat today? Well, your biggest financial threat today is dying or almost dying. Boom, right there. Right there in plain blue. Black marker wasn't working. Okay. All right. So, dying or almost dying. Well, clearly, with dying, you're no longer here to earn an income, to make money, right? So clearly, that's a pretty big financial threat. What about almost dying? Why is that, tied in with the biggest financial threat? Well, dying, it's almost worse than dying financially. So when you almost die, you're not able, and you're rendered incapacitated or unable to earn money, right, for an extended period of time. So not only are you not earning money, but you're also racking up bills. You're costing money, right? Horrible way to think about it, but it is reality, okay? It's reality for sure. So how do you combat that? How do you protect yourself against those financial threats? Well, the clear answer here is insurance. And what is insurance? Insurance is the transference of risk. So insurance companies will take on the risk of you dying or almost dying in exchange for a payment. And it comes in the form of monthly premiums. Okay? So what type of insurance will protect against you dying or almost dying? Well, clearly when it comes to dying, people think life insurance, right? And so it's insurance that protects against, in the case of term insurance, it's if you die. But in permanent insurance, it's when you die. Okay? It's no matter, you're going to die at some point, right? As the old folks say, if the Lord tarries and the creek don't rise, right? At some point, we're going to die. So, you get life insurance. And it's one of the most loving things you could do for your family. Because especially if you have a family that's dependent upon you for your income, if and when you die, it can replace your income. It can provide legacy for those that you leave behind. It's like you're reaching beyond the grave to provide for your family. Okay? So it's one of the most loving things you can do. Now, what about almost dying? Okay, so we talked about the death benefit for when you die, but a lot of people aren't aware that there is life insurance with living benefits. Now, these living benefits well, the ones that we're going to talk about here, hopefully you don't have to take advantage of, but they're there in case you do need them. Okay, so there is chronic illness, critical illness, terminal illness. Okay, and in some cases, some companies have protection for Alzheimer's disease. So these are benefits that if one of these events trigger this living benefit, it will kind of fast forward, all right? It will distribute or accelerate the benefit, the death benefit. So it'll take a portion of it, a major portion of it, in the case of a terminal illness, it'll give you a large lump sum. Okay, terminal illness is if you have less than 12 months to die. Less than 12 months to live as a diagnosis from the doctor. In this case, you receive a lump sum. It's a great portion of the death benefit that you can use any way you choose to. And the really cool thing about it is that if you get better, because you don't always die from a terminal illness, you don't have to pay that money back, and it is tax-free. Okay? Now with chronic illness, critical illness, sometimes, or with a critical illness, a lot of times there will be a lump sum as well. But with a chronic illness, it'll be a monthly benefit spread out over 4 or 5 years. Because generally, when someone has a chronic illness, they generally, within 4 or 5 years, they expire. Okay? And then the rest of the death benefit is paid out to the family. Okay, so that covers the first financial threat, which is dying or almost dying. Okay, I'm going to flip this around. Second financial threat is losing money. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investing minds of our time, says the number one rule of investing is don't lose money. The number 2 rule is don't forget the first rule, which is don't lose money. Okay? Now, why is losing money such a big financial threat? Well, let's just take the dot-com crash in 2001, the housing market crisis in 2008, okay? Even as recent as the financial recession that occurred in 2020, 2021, okay? People were losing money. There are people who were pretty much ready and prepared to retire. And then these events occurred, which halted, in many cases, that plan that people had in place to retire. They were ready to, walk off into the sunset, so to speak. But they were not able to because they lost money that they were counting on in order to retire. So what happened, many people had to keep working. Those who were not protected from the second financial threat, which is losing money. Okay, now that happens, retirement, sure, it stopped that. Some people, they may have to work a little longer to recoup some money that they lost. But even though people say, and it's true, that the stock market rebounded, yes, it did. But I want to pose a question. I want you to think about for just a moment. If you lose 50% of your money in the account, how much do you have to gain? How much do you have to earn to get back to 100? A lot of people would guess 50%, right? You lost 50%. So you have to gain 50%, right? If you guess that, you're wrong. You have to gain 100%. Because think about it. If you get back of 50%, right, what do you that you lost, you're back to 75% of that. So you need that other amount, because when you're getting back to 50%, you're not getting back 50% of the original amount. You're getting back 50% of what you have left. So if you get back to 100%, that'll put you back at 0. Okay? Not for gains, just to get back to 0. All right, so that's why losing money, pretty big deal. Okay? And not only for those who are retiring, but maybe people who are there depending on money, right? And that's just in like retirement accounts and stuff like that. But what about money in your bank account? Losing money, right? You're trying to take care of your family, yet you're losing money. Okay, so what is the recommendation to protect against this? Okay, my number one recommendation for this is index accounts. All right. So what about index accounts? Why are they so great? All right. So if you have your money in the stock market, okay, you run the risk of losing money. You can have great gains, but you run the risk of losing money. What about 401ks? Right? It's tax deferred. All right, but they're still investing in the stock market, so it can lose money. And yes, it's tax deferred, right? But with it being tax deferred, you defer taxes until later. Kind of like when a football team was a coin toss and they defer to the second half. They're going to make a decision, they're just going to wait until the second half. Well, now you're in the second half of your life. You deferred taxes to this point. So you did not pay taxes on the seed. You chose to pay taxes on the harvest. In your retirement years when you're no longer earning an income. All right? So think about it for a minute. More than likely, what are taxes probably going to do? What have they done in the past? Almost every year, they have gone up. So more than likely, taxes are going to go up. And it's going to be a bigger amount of taxes on your harvest that you're depending on for your retirement years. Okay? So what about the banks? Well, banks are pretty safe. FDIC insured. Okay, cool. So if the FDIC insured up to $250,000. So if that's all you have, you're good. But if you have more than that, just the rest of that money, bye-bye. All right? So there's that. And then, what about inflation? Okay, so most banks, in your checking, your savings, you're not getting more than 1%. Some are getting a little bit more than that since inflation occurred. But what happened is inflation went crazy, right? But the savings accounts, all that, CDs, they're not keeping up with inflation. So if that's where you have your money and it's not keeping up with the inflation, every year you have your money in one of those accounts, your money is losing value. All right, so why indexed accounts? Well, indexed accounts, the really cool thing about them is that they're indexed, so that means they're not tied or participating in the indexes that are in the stock market, but they are mirrored. Okay, so when the stock market does well, your money goes up. So you have that growth potential. You want your money to grow, right? Outpace inflation. And many of the index accounts, they average 8 to 9 and 10% return. But the firm that I'm with, we have accounts where you actually get 12, 15, 20% return. And, well, I won't get into it, but there's such a thing called par rate. I get into that in another video, okay? So, you have the growth potential. But you also want your money protected. Remember, don't lose money. Losing money, number 2 financial threat. So how can these help? They have something called a floor. So they mirror the index accounts, they mirror the stock market when the stock market is going up, right? But when the stock market goes down, there's that floor, okay? Where you don't lose money due to a market downturn. That's beautiful. That's something you definitely need in your tool belt, right? Okay. So that's the cool thing. You have the growth potential, but you have the protection. Another really cool thing about these is if it's in the right vehicle, you're also protected from taxes. Because in that tax when you put it in, that tax as it grows, and remember I talked about the harvest? If you do it right, if you have it set up right, you're not taxed when you take the money out either. So that's the number 1 recommendation for protecting against losing money. Okay, now, I'm only going to deal with those 2 in this video. In the next video, I'm going to deal with the number 3 financial threat. Okay? For the rest of this video, I'm gonna deal with the food, baby. Okay, so before I have made some chickpea mushroom burgers. I'm sorry, I said it kind of wrong the first time. Chickpea mushroom burgers, right? Well, then I have buns. Then I have the sourdough bread that I wanted. So I thought, man, what if I make some chickpea mushroom sausage dogs? Okay, I did a video with carrot dogs, excuse me. But I thought, what if I make sausage dogs, right? So, what I got going on here? Well, chickpea and mushrooms, right? So I, of course, mashed up the chickpeas. As far as the mushrooms, I use lion's mane mushrooms, which is meaty, very meaty. Well, mushrooms usually are meaty, yeah, but this is, yeah. As well as portobello mushrooms, okay? Those, so chickpeas, mushrooms, that's what I use. Cut those up. I had sauteed onions in veggie broth. Added in the mushrooms, season them with some light smoky seasoning from Tabitha Brown. Also use her very good garlic. Use nutritional yeast, basil leaves, onion powder, and garlic powder. All right. Season it up real good. Let it cook for a little bit. Mashed up the chickpeas. Added the tapioca flour for binding. Put that in a food processor. The mushrooms in a food processor. Add them to the chickpeas and the tapioca flour. Mix it up with my hand. Had gloves on. Okay, did that. And then I cooked them up, seasoned them a little bit more with a little bit more nutritional yeast, as well as the light smoky seasoning. Used a little bit of that. Oh, and some more basil leaves. Gave it a really nice taste, really nice flavor. And then I went ahead and cooked some fries too. right? Sometimes I leave on the skin. This time I peel the skin, cut it up. I tried something different with the seasoning. I used curry seasoning and cinnamon. Popped in my head and said, why not try this? Turned out really well. Now, for my toppings on the dogs, I have two of these in here because the sausage dogs weren't really big. So now, apparently, they used up the barbecue sauce I had, used up the ketchup that was in there. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me pivot. I put on some honey, which I think I'm going to put on a little bit more because it looked like it got soaked in. And honey and mustard. So pretty much just honey mustard. All right. Let's get in it, y'all. Oh, that's such good flavor. Oh my goodness, that's such good flavor. Oh wow. I'm happy. This is my first. Takes as I was cooking. I tried to cook it in a skillet. Then it turned out that well, so I had to finish it in the air fryer. And what was left in the skin, I kind of scraped out. Tasted that had good flavor, but oh my goodness, yeah, buddy. All right, so get on with these fries. Good flavor. I waited a little long, and they got a little like fries do when they get a little cold. We'll dip it in the mustard. Y'all, I'm telling you, this right here, it's a really, really good meal. You might want to try it. You just might want to try it. I'm telling you. I had never seen. I saw something that inspired the burger, the chickpea mushroom burger. Had never seen this done. I'm telling you, it's good. Hey, I hope and pray that this video, I hope you enjoyed it and that it provided you the value that you need. I'm telling you, take the time to put these things in place. Speak with a financial professional, okay? I'm always make myself available. I'll put my number and my email in the description, okay? 330-319-0141, loudslegacy22@gmail.com. Please like the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share it, y'all, so other people can get this valuable information. I believe you're all supposed to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. All right, people, family, it's been fun. Remember to always take control of your time, your money, and your future. I'm out.